Hi there. We are going to get started in just a couple of minutes. I do like to make sure that I start right on time. So while we're waiting, if you have any questions that you'd like to post, just post them in the chat box and I'll make sure that I get to them at some point during the next hour. Just another minute or so. Okay, we're right on 11 o'clock. So in the interest of getting started on time, let's kick off. So today, I'm just going to start with sharing with you my story. Basically, I launched my group coaching program, which I'm calling my 12-month luxury business and lifestyle mastermind. I launched that in January this year, and that mastermind has netted me over $160,000 in participants in my mastermind program fees, and also through just some coaching that I've picked up and other opportunities that have come my way since running my event. So, you know, this business was the idea for a book in October. So I think it was the last day in September, I had decided that it was time to write my third book. I'd been, you know, looking forward to writing again and had a bit of an idea for what this book was going to be, and the moment I started to write it, I just fell in love with it and it started to write itself. So the idea for my mastermind program formed while I was writing that book. So the book took me roughly a month to write, so it took me all of October. I procrastinated over the last chapter, so that took me a little bit longer as well. And then, you know, I've been procrastinating like a mad woman over the cover for the last 2 months. So it's been sitting there written and ready to go, and just waiting for the cover. And I did the cover shoot yesterday. So hopefully it's only a matter of a week or so now before I have the book ready to go. Anyway, that's a whole other story. So as I said, as I was writing the book, the idea for the mastermind came to me, and I knew that this program had to be a live program. Been working in the online space for quite a while, and I tend to have a bit of a knack for staying ahead of the game just a little bit. And, you know, I just had this hankering that, you know, I really needed to run this as a live program. And I also had a sense that people were ready to be live again. And so what I had decided was that this program was going to be a really high-end offering that included all the bells and whistles. I had looked back over my journey towards this launch and thought, you know, and the success that I'd had before that in my other business, and thought, you know, what were the things that changed for me? You know, I belong to a lot of Facebook groups, which is where probably many of you have come from. And so I belong to these groups, and I'm watching this struggle over and over and over, you know, and it has a common thread. And I thought, you know, what are the things that these women aren't doing or aren't executing well that I had done really, really well, and was basically, you know, what resulted in success for me. And so I built the program based on that. And when I decided to launch this thing, I knew that for me, I'm better when I'm in front of people. You know, I know that people, when I have people in a room and I can workshop with them, you know, I have really good conversion rate, and it's just how I work best. You know, especially initially when I'm launching something, because it's so fresh and you know, the energy is just there for that live program. So what I did was I decided that I was going to run 2 one-day events. So the Mastermind is capped at 8 women, and it's a $25,000 program. I ran 2 one-day events to give the women a bit of a taste for, you know, not just what working with me would be like, but, you know, we met in these beautiful surroundings. It was very opulent, very luxurious. We fine dined in the restaurant and had wine over lunch, and it was just a stunning day. And so I'd also given these women a bit of a taste about what life can be like. You know, this is the day in the life of what your life can be work. If you join this Mastermind program, and I get you where I promise I'm going to get you to. So I ran those 2 events, got people onto the Mastermind, and then have had people approach me since to come on even after we've started, after we've already kicked off. So it's been really successful. In the interim, I've run some shorter online programs, and, you know, really love doing those. They're just a short 4 or 5 week program with a really clear outcome at the end of it. And, you know, what I've found is that this business has been so easy. You know, I've been in business for over 2 decades now, and this has been the most simple business to roll out, and it's been the most lucrative financially. And, you know, if you're a coach, you've probably got some sort of hankering to scale up your business in some way. And so for me, I decided that one-on-one coaching wasn't what I wanted to do. I'd done that for years off and on. And, you know, I burn out when I do that. And I knew that looking at my bigger picture, this isn't where I wanted to be. You know, I had a vision of myself, you know, rocking up to my Mastermind in my brand new car, wearing my really nice clothes, and, you know, really loving my work. And that's exactly what I'm doing right now, you know, and running some online stuff as well, because I do really love that space as well. And obviously not everybody lives in Melbourne. And so right now, you know, I'm living the dream, and very, very quickly that went from the idea for this book in August and starting to write the book to, you know, the end of January, having already secured double 6 figures if you include my other business for the year ahead, you know, and I'd barely just started. So very exciting. So where this can take me from now, and where this kind of success can lead to when you nail it like I have managed to do is, you know, this year is going to be my first $1 million year. And if I don't hit $1 million this year, it's going to come really, really close. And so what I want to share with you now is basically my kickass success principles or strategies, because the things that I started to do that I wasn't doing before are the things that made the difference. And not just for me, you know, I've seen this in other entrepreneurs as well. So there are certain things that you can do and apply that will help you replicate my success and the success of the other women out there doing equally well or even better than I am. So I've got a list, and I'm going to work through the list. So the first and probably most powerful thing would be focus on one thing. Focus on doing one thing and doing it really, really well. So when I wanted to launch the live Mastermind, in the back of my mind already, this is also an online program, and I will be doing that in about July, if not sooner. So for me, I could have focused on trying to get this live and also try and create the online version of the program. I've done that before, and I just feel like I'm running around like a headless chook, and I feel like I'm not making the progress that I need to make. I feel a bit scattered. And so I knew that if I just focused on one thing, and the focus was, you know, set the date for the Mastermind to kick off, then work back from there, set 2 live day events so I can have those women experience me on those days and convert them into the Mastermind program. So all I had to focus on after the dates were booked were fill these 2 one-day events. That's all I had to focus on. And it felt so easy, you know, and very, very simple. So, you know, focus on your one thing, clear your mind of the distraction of all the other stuff, and then, you know, get ready to settle in. This stuff happened really fast for me, but I've been treading the entrepreneurial floorboards for, you know, a decade or a couple of decades. Firstly in bricks and mortar business, but for the last probably 12 years, maybe more than that, probably 15 years, I've been online, you know, so I've been doing this a very long time. But when it happens and you nail everything, it can happen really, really quickly. If you have a few things going your way and you have all of your ducks in a row, and I'm going to be talking about those now. But so first one to remember is just, make sure that you focus on one thing. Know what it is that you're going to be focusing your attention on and give it 12 months. Clear your mind of distraction and settle in for the long haul. Success can come quickly, but you need to settle in for the long haul. I could happily settle with just running one mastermind program this year. I'm already sitting in double six figures, and I could just happily go along and do that. But I know that that's not my nature, for a start. And secondly, if you don't keep driving something forward, it loses momentum, and then we become stuck, and it's very hard to get unstuck, and we can waste months being stuck. Okay, so where was I going with that? Yeah, just focus on your one thing. It'll come back to me. All right, so the next thing is you need to have a clear strategy. And so I guess this comes back a little bit to trying to do too many things at once. When you're doing that, there's often not a lot of strategy. You're putting out fires everywhere. And so what tends to happen is you're bolting things on and adding things on the fly. And so you not only feel like you're chasing your tail, but you also really aren't getting anywhere. And if you're not convicted about what you're offering, if you don't have strong conviction and you know what outcome you're delivering and you know your value, you'll never have the level of success. You just won't, because you're going to be spending so much time in self-doubt and second guessing and questioning and everything else that you won't move forward. I know it because I've been there. I've coached women through it, and I've seen many, many other female entrepreneurs go through the same thing. So have a really clear strategy. So for me, as I said, the strategy was, number one, it's going to be a mastermind. It's going to kick off on this date. So the strategy is I need to run. Okay, so my initial strategy was it is going to be a live mastermind. Set the date, set my live days so that I convert people through, and only focus on that. From there, then when that's done, there's a loose strategy in the back of my mind that this will launch again later in the year with another group, and I will also have an online version of it. But I wasn't touching it just yet. I wasn't touching anything. It was all going to be just about fill this first thing. And the strategy was very clear. I executed it beautifully. And now the time is, here for me to move on those other things. And I'm doing that as we speak. Had I been trying to do it all together at the same time, wouldn't have happened. I still would have been spinning my heels. So have a very clear strategy. The next thing is you need to have a signature program. And your signature program needs to be based on your zone of genius and also your market's problems. Your market's challenges are your product at the end of the day. That's what it comes down to. So when I talk about your zone of genius, think about what you do well. So when you're running your coaching business and you have, you're coaching people through a common thread, there's something that you just seem to be doing a lot of. For me, in my other business, what I found myself to be really good at was developing great brands for people, helping people with brand strategy, helping them to become an ambassador and adopt a persona for their business and really become a rock star in their industry, and also create really good high-end packages based on their zone of genius and the things that they love to do. For me, it always comes back to what's your end goal? So for me, my end goal is to be able to work from the south of France or from Thailand from my laptop whenever I want to for an extended period of time. So for me, I can do that. With the model that I have right now, I can do that. And that's the thing, if you aren't clear on what your end goal is, you can end up creating a business that actually is in the way of that. So just a really quick example of that, a lady I was coaching a little while ago, she had a bricks and mortar business, and there was an element of that bricks and mortar business that was training and also products. And so when I was coaching her, she was wanting to focus on growing the bricks and mortar business. But when we became clear that her end goal was actually, to be able to work from anywhere in the world, I said, well, we're focused on growing the wrong thing. This is not going to get you where you need to be. Let's just continue to do what you're doing in the bricks and mortar, but let's really leverage this training business that you can do from anywhere. We can take it online, and you have products that you can sell from that. So for her, you know, knowing that end goal was really important. So, you know, making sure that the business model that you choose does have that end goal, really important. Now, getting back to your signature program, you know, we need to start with the outcome in mind. So as I said, the product offering that you come up with, or the program offering that you come up with, really is going to be a complete and remarkable solution to your market's greatest challenges. So for me, you know, the entrepreneurial women that I have on board, what I see happen is, you know, they might have a really wonderful idea. The execution of many things along the way is not great. You know, most people are bootstrapping, but you can still be, so, you know, I did that too. You can still be really professional and really slick even if you're bootstrapping. So what I saw was things like, they're not getting this done. I know they need to do it, but they're not getting it done, and they're not clear about this, and they're not blah, blah, blah. You know, there was a whole bunch of stuff that I could see going wrong. So I built my mastermind program around those elements. So for example, one thing that I know, and I'm guilty as hell of it as well, is that, you know, women put off having their photos done for their website and their promo stuff. And if you're not putting your best self forward on, you know, with your web presence and everything else, you can't play full out, you know. And so a lot of these women, they knew it, or they'd have their friends take photos or whatever, and they just weren't profesh, you know, and it was holding them back. The execution wasn't great. And so as part of the mastermind and part of this complete and remarkable solution, what I've done is I've organized one of the mastermind days to be about having the girls styled. We'll have a personal stylist there. She's going to style them. Got a makeup artist there, have a photographer there. And each one of those women will not leave that day until they have professional photos that they can use, not only in their websites, but, you know, anywhere that they want to use those photos. So that's an example that I want to give you. So it's got to be a complete and remarkable solution. So when I'm on my live days and I'm selling these women into the mastermind program, you know, I'm talking to their pain points. You know you need to get your photos done. Have you done it yet? You know, you need to have a really professional website with a proper opt-in, and, you know, you need to create your video series. You need to have a video blog or a blog or whatever it is. And they're kind of bolting bits and pieces on and throwing things together in a not very strategic way, and the branding often doesn't match up. And so what starts is this really wonderful idea, can't see my hands, this really wonderful idea is diluted by the crappy way that they're executing. And so what happens is these women go away and think, my idea was crap, no one wants to buy it. When it's not that, it's just the execution of all those other moving parts. And so the mastermind program for me is about, you know, ensuring each of those women has all of their ducks in a row, and all of the elements that aren't getting done, they have no choice. It just gets done in the mastermind program. So when so the outcome, sorry, for my girls is every woman will be celebrating in Paris at the end of the mastermind, celebrating the fact that they now have a 6-figure business. That's the outcome. There are no moving goalposts. I know I can get each of the women there. You know, so long as they do the work that I'm asking them to do, I can get every single one of them there. So that's the outcome. So I knew my market well. I knew the things that they weren't doing. And I also knew that what their outcome needed to be. You know, I knew that this was a common goal for female entrepreneurs. The 6-figure thing's been bandied around a lot. I feel like it really has been overdone, but I am using it because it's relevant, you know, and it's what a lot of women are telling themselves. You know, they just want one of these 6-figure businesses, and, you know, what can they do to get to that? So, you know your market well enough to know that your outcome, your solution, your Eiffel Tower, which is your signature program, is an answer to those problems, and it is going to get them where they need to be. If you can nail what that is for your market and you execute all the other things well, then you will succeed. You absolutely will succeed. Okay, I'm just going to check, do I have any questions? Has anybody got any questions? No, I'm hoping the chat's working and I'm just covering all of your content precisely the way that you would like it to be covered. And just quickly, I'm just going to start a poll as well. So if you can just click on, select whichever of those apply to you. I just want to get a bit of a feel for the audience. All righty. Moving on. Create a funnel based on this. Okay, so one of the things that is going to be really important is my program's a $25,000 program. I can't expect someone to just rock up to my program or just see an ad that I'm running and they're going to pay $25,000 because they just think it's amazingly wonderful. It just doesn't happen, and so if you've got a high-end product, you need to ease people into it. There's some research going around that says that if you have somebody who's interested in what you do, then it takes 7 hours and 11 touch points to move them from being interested in what you have to offer and through to conversion. And so what we need to do, so what I'm saying there is when people first come across you, say you visit my website and you're like, oh, I really love this website. If you will take the time and you will consume 7 hours of me and receive, my Facebook posts, or you check out my video blog, or you're on my email newsletter, or you watch one of my videos, webinars, then if you consume 7 hours and 11, and I've touched you in some way 11 times, you'll convert usually. And the sooner I can get you through that funnel, the greater the conversion. Okay, and we're talking conversion, and that sounds a little bit like very cutthroat and it's all about the money. It really isn't, but this is a strategy that you need to know about. That doesn't detract from, my desire to help women achieve six-figure businesses doing what they really, really love from their zone of genius. It doesn't detract from that, but there is a sales approach that we need to take, because if I can't sell people into the programs that I'm doing, I can't change their lives. So we have to talk tactics just a little bit. If it makes you cringe, especially if you're a coach, I fully understand. And it took me a long time to get past that too. But now I see the results of my work, in the other women. And it's like, whatever it takes, as long as it's done honorably and I'm, transparent about it, I think people know when they're being, sold to. So anyway, so we want to move people through this 7 hours and 11 touch points as quickly as we can. So what does that mean? We have 4 levels. So our level 1 is information that they can consume for free. So for me, I have a video blog. I have my other blog, which I've got to write more on, and that's about it, I think, plus Instagram, Facebook, things like that. So your level 1 offering is free. So there's no strings attached, no opt-in, anything like that. So what you're doing then is when you move people into your level 2, which is where they opt in, so there's a little small commitment there, you're getting people who are really interested and engaged. Okay, so level 1 free. You just freely give awesome information out there, and the people that whose language you speak are going to be interested in what you have to say. From there, we want to get their details. So a level 2 offering is your opt-in. So for me, at the moment, it's a free video series. I've also, when my book goes live, I'm going to offer a free chapter, things like that. So there's a small commitment. They have, this webinar. So you have to enter your details. But when you enter your details, what happens is you get something. So there's more hours, more touch points. And then from there, what we want to do is have our next level, which we're asking them to make a bigger commitment. And so for me, in this model, it was my one-day Let's Do Lunch events. So that event was $297. So they're saying, I've consumed your free stuff. I've given you my details. You haven't pissed me off yet. So I'm really excited about what you've got to offer, and I'm interested. And then from there, the people that are ready to take the leap and spend $297 and spend the day with me are engaged. And then I've got enough of those in a room to be able to convert those to my $25,000 program. But what needs to happen is we need to have a logical and strategic sequence from the opt-in, or from the moment they touch base with you, through to converting them to your high-end program. So what you don't want to do is just say, oh, other people are doing a video series, I'm going to do that. Oh, I saw somebody else doing that, I'm going to do that. And they don't actually speak to the larger offering. So for me, everything that I'm posting all points to my larger offering. Not everybody's going to take it. It's not for everybody, but it's very cohesive. So whatever you get for free is pointing to that. The next thing is, more of that, still pointing to that. It's all the same stuff. It's just bigger, bigger, bigger. Okay, so make sure that it's a logical sequence and you're not just bolting stuff on. So for example, today's webinar is moving from one-on-one coaching to selling high-end group coach programs. So my mastermind now is a mix of a number of different business types, mostly coaches. Next time I only want coaches. They're going to be the ones that I think I'm going to enjoy working with the most. And it's because it's what I do, so I know it really intimately, and I work not as hard, basically. Businesses that aren't the same as mine, I guess, I have to work harder. So for me, it's all about, the enjoyment of my work as well. Where was I going with that? I do get distracted sometimes. Yeah, so the offering, that's where I was going with it. So the offering points to the coaching businesses. So, I'm having you here because I want to work with you in some other form, and your coaches, you're the people that I love to work with. So it all speaks to each other. It all makes sense. People aren't surprised when they opt in for one thing and then they go, oh, hang on, why is she talking to me about this? So make sure that it's really cohesive and it makes sense. Your high-end program, very rarely are you going to get people who just jump on and say, oh, I want to join your $25,000 program. I saw your ad and I just want to join your program. It doesn't usually work like that. So we need to, feed people their 7 hours and 11 touch points and convert them that way. Okay, so there are no shortcuts. There really aren't. So be prepared, as I say, to settle in, do the work, start with your complete and remarkable solution. That's where you start. What's your client's dream product or solution? And then you work back from there. So your level 3 is, okay, so this is the complete and remarkable solution. How can I give them a taste of that? And what's that worth price-wise? And then working backwards again. So what do I need to share with them and give them for them to be interested enough to take that next step? And the same thing when you're giving your stuff away for free. So I hope that makes sense. I hope that really makes sense, because when you can really nail that and know that your complete and remarkable solution is the answer to their dreams, and you can speak to them in the right way, you're marketing the right way, you're positioning yourself in the right way, your branding's nailed, then you really can't fail, honestly. There is so much money to be made in this world, and if you can nail all of those things, plenty of it's coming your way. Okay, the other thing that I want to talk to you about is brand and persona. So really, really, really important to adopt the persona around your business. You are the ambassador for your brand. You need to have a brand that you're really proud of, that is a true extension of who you are. I've been in martial arts for coming up to 25 years now. And, many of my other businesses have been in martial arts. My last book is, called Bulletproof Confidence and a Kick-Ass Body Through Martial Arts Training and Principles. So the kick-ass was already there. I'd moved on to a different stage in my life where I'd gone from athlete and living in my dobok, which is my taekwondo uniform, on my workout gear, and I've had online personal training businesses and all that sort of stuff. And I was ready, and had been for a little while, to step into this more elegant space and not be the athlete full-time anymore, and to, really step up in the business that I had, which was dealing with martial arts school owners. The product and the book that I wrote for that is called The Honourable Martial Arts Entrepreneur. And that was a program helping martial arts school owners get really clear about the fact that they could niche and position themselves. And won't spend too much time on that, but that's kind of the deal with that. And so I was having to dress up, and even though half of them would turn up in their trackies and all the rest of it half the time, you know, I would dress up and really step into that role of being this leader of these people who are looking to me to help them grow their businesses. And I really enjoyed it. And I was ready to step into a more feminine space. And so I'm thinking, oh, but I'm still an ass kicker. It's still about kicking asses, but I can do it elegantly. And it came to me, the art of kicking ass elegantly. And I thought, oh my God, that's so me. You know, and even through the years, so many people had said to me, I know you do martial arts, but you're so glamorous, you know, when I'd be out or whatever. And so I've always had this kind of dual thing going on. And, you know, sometimes I'll go to Thailand and I'll train there, and, you know, I just look like a hot mess for the 2 weeks that I'm there, or however long I'm there, just training in a fight camp and sweating and just looking foul. And then, you know, when I go to Paris, I glam up, and so it's like, who am I? Which person am I? And so combining those two things and realizing, you know, I can actually be both, and there are two sides to me, and they're fairly equal. And that name and that brand and the persona, it just came to me beautifully, you know. And so, you know, I'll swear from time to time, and but there is, you know, I would like to think some level of elegance and sophistication about what I do. But there's also that kick-ass part of me as well, you know. I've been a fighter my whole life in one form or another, and so it fit really beautifully for me. So, you know, what I would want for all of you is for your brand to fit like that, for you to say, oh, that's exactly it. That's exactly who I am. And then you can create from there. So I'm going to touch again on your zone of genius, okay, and why we want to move into only working from that space of our zone of genius. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about some don'ts. I'm going to talk about some don'ts, and that's going to come into that. So the first don't is, what we don't want to do is work outside of our zone of genius. And what I mean by that is, I'll give you a couple of examples. I have a client of mine who's a PA, and she's a great virtual PA, amazing. She works for me. And what she found herself getting caught up in is she was taking on these jobs, and she's good at, she's got some great marketing ideas, and, you know, she's got fairly savvy at Facebook ads. But she'd taken on these projects where she was a virtual PA, but all of a sudden she found herself creating ad campaigns for these businesses in Facebook. She's like, it's stressing me out, and I was awake all night. I'm like, well, why are you doing that? You're not a Facebook expert. You're a PA. You're a virtual PA. And so what we got clear on was she's stressing because it's not what she started out doing, and it's not what she was selling. But we worked out she probably does want to do it, and she's quite good at it. So how do we make this work? And so we made it a package. So her first package is PA, where it's basically she can help carry out those tasks. But if you want input and creative input and consulting, there's a whole other level and a different price point. And so we got clear on that. So for her, that worked. I also found myself in a trap in my other business, because Facebook, again, I got really good at it, and, you know, my business has grown through Facebook ads, my previous business. So I thought, oh, I'll just teach that. And then I thought, you know, why am I doing this? This is not what I want to be good at. And so, and it was causing me stress. So then I had to realize, hang on, this isn't my zone of genius. I'm good at it. I can do it. Do I want to be doing it? Is there someone better that I can have come in and do this for me? Yes, was the answer to that. So when I removed that and I was just doing what I was good at and was easy for me, the stress fell away. And so if you're finding you're stressed in your offering, it's probably because you're offering something that you're really not across yet. And so all I can suggest there is, you know, ask yourself, do I really need to do this? And if you don't, get rid of it straight away. And if you feel like you really, really do, then educate yourself so that you have a really strong level of comfort around delivering it, so that you're not stressed about it. So yeah, number one, don't work outside of your zone of genius. Another thing is don't, coaches tend to do this a lot, sell what you haven't done yet. So I had a conversation with another coach that I was looking at working with, and she basically said, you know, I want to create this business where, you know, people can create six-figure incomes. And I said, but have you had a six-figure, are you making six figures? She's like, no, and that's what's stressing me, you know, because I haven't made it yet and I'm going to be teaching these people. And I basically said, well, you just can't, you know, you haven't done it yet. So what you need to do is talk to them about how you can create a program around, you know, go out, have a $5,000 a month, document how you did that, and then you can, if you've done that, go out and create a program around how to have a 5K month. You can't talk about selling something that you haven't done yet, you know, so it's got to sit with your integrity and it's got to stay within your zone of genius. So really, really important. I hope that's clear. If there's stress stemming and you're not enjoying it, just, you know, really pick it apart and work out why. And it's usually just going to be because you're doing something that you haven't done yet. So how can you scale it back? Or it's not within your zone of genius, so can you chop it off, or can you learn to, you know, to bring it into your zone of genius? Usually I would say you can't, because your zone of genius is just your God-given talents. Okay, the other thing that I would suggest you don't do is launch before you're ready. You know, I know a lot of people talk about, you know, just launch before you're ready. Doesn't matter if you haven't created the whole thing, just get started. I'm not a fan of that. And the reason I'm not a fan of that is, like everything else, I've done that in the past, and there's a bad energy, there's a bad juju that goes around that, because what happens is there's this invisible wall that stops you playing full out because you know you haven't created it yet. So really important to launch when you know exactly what you're delivering, what the outcome is, all of your ducks are in a row, the funnel that I spoke to you about before is done, and everything's highly professional. So, you know, not everybody can afford to get a film crew in to shoot their video series, but you can do it and make it look really professional on your iPhone with, you know, simple editing material. It's stuff like, you know, making sure your background looks good, lighting, making sure you do your hair, you know, stuff like that. That's really important. So it's got to be highly professional. All of your ducks have to be in a row. And then when you're really strongly convicted about what you're offering, you can go forward and nothing's going to hold you back. You know, and just a little an exercise to do on that is, if you're not ready, or you're getting ready to launch, you're like, oh, people aren't going to pay these people. Go through, write down every single objection that's coming that you think is going to come your way, and then answer those objections for yourself. Because when you go through that and you eliminate that bad juju around that, it opens the door to receiving. If you've got stuff going on about people can't afford that, somebody's already doing it better than I am, you know, all that crap, if you can't answer those objections yourself and really get comfortable with it, then you can't go forward. So you've got to eliminate all of that stuff. Do whatever work you need to do to get rid of it, but get rid of it so that you can go and play full out, strongly 100% convicted on what it is that you're selling. All right. Another big no-no is don't throw things together. You know, don't just say, oh, I think, yeah, everybody's got lead pages, I'm just going to grab lead pages, and, you know, throw things together without having a really strong approach, you know, a really strong strategy. And a little tip on that, you know, if you're doing lead pages or anything like that, using Canva or whatever, if you've got a logo and a brand that you love, know the color codes of all of your branding, so that when you create stuff in Canva, you can type those color codes in and it looks cohesive. Really important. If you don't know the color code of your logo and your logo designer is long gone, there are tools that you can just Google something along the lines of color picker or something like that, and it will, there's web tools that will help you get the color code so that you can make everything look totally professional and cohesive. Any questions? No. Goodness me. I must be doing an awesome job. All right. So next thing that I want to do is just quickly talk to you about the program that I'm starting next Tuesday and the offer that I have for you. So the program that I'm starting next week is called Create a Kick-Ass Business and Life You Love. And so what this program's about is getting clear on all the stuff that I spoke to you about. You know, what's your end goal? Where do you want to take this? How are you going to roll this out? It's about creating strategy, but it's not just about business. When I ran my live one-day event, this was pretty much the content that I ran on that day. So it's about the art of kicking entrepreneurial ass. So we get clear, or it's the art of elevating yourself as an entrepreneur, getting clear on your Eiffel Tower, which is your signature offering, your business model, your message, your sales funnel, and more. So we go through all of that stuff. I do a whole session, or part of a session, sorry, on your money story. So it's the art of kicking money ass, and you know how some of us have negative money stories and how they hold us back and what we need to do to bust through those. The art of kicking love ass. So it's a little bit of stuff on relationships, because a solid relationship is, for me, that's added to my life and also to me as a businesswoman. Now that I have this amazing love in my life, you know, the ups and downs in business seem far less rocky. So I talk a little bit about that. I'm not going to do a huge amount on that, but we're just going to touch on that. The art of kicking fitness ass, which is really about how you take care of your body and the foods that you put in it and all that sort of stuff, and making sure that you are, you know, vibrant. You need to be vibrant when you're running a business. And just, you know, again, we're just touching on it and how you can, in the shortest amount of time possible, stay in shape and eat optimally so that you're feeling great and you're putting your best self forward. And the last one is the art of living a life well lived. So, you know, we get bogged down in trying to build these businesses that we're doing that we actually forget to look up sometimes and smell the roses. So it's about how we can bring or how we can indulge in luxury every day, slowing down and creating meaning in our everyday tasks so that we're truly living the way that we intended. We're not putting it on hold anymore. We're not saying, when we make this much money or when our business has done this, then we can do these things. You know, right now you might not be able to do grand things, but there are going to be things that you can do in your everyday life to make you actually realize, I'm actually doing this now. You know, I'm doing this now and I'm creating this thing now and I'm going to enjoy the ride. So that program starts next Tuesday. The cost of that is $9.97, or I do have a payment plan. There's 4 payments of $275. Now, for the first 5 people to sign up, I'm including in that my program, and I'm going to cut and paste this so you can have a look at it. It's a program, the first one that I ran, called Selling High-End Programs to Female Entrepreneurs Through Events. So it basically goes through everything that I did to run my live events, and it includes not just the event and how you want it to look and feel, how to create content that converts. There's a bit of an art in that. Your offer, so making an offer too good to refuse so that your conversion is a lot higher, and also how to fill that event. So it's all of the strategies that I employ to fill my events. So I'm including that free for the first 5 people, and that is $249 at the moment. That was a live program and now it's a digital product. So you've got 4 videos and you also have a workbook and some other resources in there. So that's being included. And I'm also going to include a one-on-one session with me for those first 5 people. An hour session with me is $749, and I'm going to include those. I also have another program coming up, and I'm going to give you that one as well. And this one is, I think I've sent you that one. I'll send you another one. And this is how to create your signature program. So if you want a more in-depth study on how to create your signature program to make it convert, then there's that one too. Again, I will include anyone who purchases those, or the first 5 people who purchase those today will receive those 2 things. They'll receive selling high-end programs to female entrepreneurs through events, and they will also be able to access that one-on-one session with me today. So whether you purchase the Create a Kick-Ass Business and Life You Love program today, or whether you purchase the Create a Kick-Ass Signature program today, you get that free selling high-end programs to entrepreneurial females through events and a one-on-one session with me. So if you would like to go ahead and purchase those for the first 5 people, you can do that via the link. I've got an offer there. Offer is displayed, so you should be able to see that sitting there, so you can purchase that, or you can go to any of those pages. So theartofkickingasselegantly.com/work with me, and you'll see the online program sitting in there, and you can access those. This will be available as a replay as well. I hope you've got much from it, and honestly, if you can nail your market, know exactly what their challenges are, and you can build your product or your Eiffel Tower around that and you get all of those other ducks in a row, you can have the same level of success. If you're not already having this level of success, you can have a whole other level of success. It's just a matter of being disciplined. Focus on one thing. So I'm going to quickly run through, do a review. Focus on one thing and only one thing. Clear yourself from distraction of everything else. You can write, other ideas are going to come to you because that's what happens. Write them down and park them. One thing, settle in and know that you're going to work this baby for 12 months, regardless, no matter what it takes. It takes sometimes a little while to work out the kinks. You take a few hits, might go backwards, but what you need to do is really keep moving forward. And if you know you've got 12 months to do that, it's all good. Have a clear strategy. So no adding things on and doing things because everybody else is. Everything's got to fit. And your signature your product offering, your funnel needs to fit. It needs to work backwards from your high-end offering and make sure that everything works towards that. Remembering, of course, the 7 hours and 11 touch points. Start with the outcome in mind. Know what it is that they want to achieve and create that funnel based on that. Be your brand. Have the brand that you're really proud of and you love, and just be that brand. Work it, baby. That's what we want to do. What you don't want to do is launch before you're ready and be unprofesh. Everything's got to be profesh and high level. You don't want to throw things together. I know I'm repeating myself there, but nothing drives me insane more than saying that. And do not work outside of your zone of genius, because you're only robbing yourself of peace of mind. It's stressful when you try to do that. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope I'll be working with some of you sometime very, very soon. Check out those offers, and when you purchase, message me on my Facebook page or shoot me an email, michelle@theartofkickingusselegantly.com. The Facebook page is theartofkickingusselegantly.com, or you can friend me on my personal page, Michelle Hext, and you can message me and we can have a chat about it. But as I say, I hope we'll be working together sometime very, very soon, hopefully on Tuesday. And in the meantime, take care and go kick some ass and create that program. Bye for now.